Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's the Eradicator and it's time for our roadmap update. And well, look at that, 3.11.1 is in Evocati. We've known that there was a patch as well that we'll talk about later. But first let's talk about 3.11, and it appears that finally the Mercury Star Runner is now in polishing phase, but it is not in the Star Citizen of 3.11.1b patch in the Evocati, and we'll talk about that further. But now let's talk about 3.11, and there's been quite a lot of changes, as we are going to see. Not really regarding locations, as we still have the same amount of tasks done for standard system spacescaping, as well as the space station refinery. There's nothing here to report. However, when it comes to AI, look at that. This is very strange and very interesting at the same time. We've got AI intersecting torpedoes here, adding functionality allowing a ship AI to intercept and shoot down incoming torpedoes. This goes in line with making the torpedo gameplay more challenging and realistic, and scoring hits more rewarding. Shooting down incoming torpedoes will help defend capital and gunships from bombers. Notice here, gunships here. Next, we have also AI fire mode and targeting priorities. Implementing functionalities that allow AI to charge weapons and use several fire modes and rates of fire, such as burst. AI turrets prioritized were changed to vary accordingly to the type of ships the turret is on, the size of the turret, and angular range, ensuring that they focus on high priority targets and are effective again and able to hit. Next, we also have AI Accuracy Convergence here. Ship turret AI accuracy change to convergence-based system, allowing for more believable accuracy that rewards players for taking evasive actions. It's true that turrets are not very accurate, and it's great to see that this is something that CIG is going to work on, actually has worked on, and we will see in about 2 months. And last time here, capital ship combat behavior improvements to ship AI focus on maneuvering, targeting, and weapons use of capital ships. This involves ensuring that the ship has full awareness of its loadout, available turrets, and size number of combatants it is facing. The pilot will react and position the ship according to each combat scenario. This is an exciting development that we are seeing here for Star Citizen after 3.12, because we were just told in the roadmap roundup that we will see IDRISSes in Star Citizen after 3.12. That's why this is going to be the final line of defense in green zones. Let's say you imagine you have a group of players who decide to wreak havoc, to bring chaos around, let's say for example Everest Harbor. All the turrets have been destroyed, and all the waves of NPCs have also been destroyed. The last wave is going to be an IDRISS, and the challenge, I suppose, for the players will be to take down the IDRISS, and for lawful players will be perhaps to defend that IDRISS. These are going to bring exciting combat scenarios in 3.12, with perhaps quite a lot of emergent gameplay as well. I can only imagine what the reward would be, if you are taking the call to arms, the unlawful call to arm missions. What the reward will be if you take down an enemy IDRISS as a group of criminal players. That should be very, very exciting indeed. Let's have a look at gameplay now. We know the mining UI refactor is also in there with 4 tasks out of 6 completed. This is a new entry. Countermeasures 1.1, improvements that gives the player more control over deploying countermeasures and make the amount fired meaningful. This is also something that we have seen in previous episodes of Inside Star Citizen, and I'm glad that we are finally getting a card here, even though probably this really didn't need to be in the roadmap. We also have torpedo attack, counterbalance, and behavior. We know that torpedoes are very overpowered in Star Citizen. We've seen torpedoes taking down ships. Just one torpedo is basically enough to take down a mid-sized ship. Maybe that is a little bit too much. Maybe torpedoes should be a little bit slower, perhaps, so that fast ships would be able to maybe escape torpedoes more easily. We've seen, for example, fighters even get taken down by torpedoes shot from far away. This is maybe something that should not be happening. However, here they say that a rebalance of size 9 torpedoes, they are now much deadlier with only a few direct hits required to bring down larger ships. This extra damage comes at the cost of speed. There we go. They should be much slower than what they currently are. However, affording the opportunity for ships to counterattack by destroying them. Yes, if we can see them incoming, then we should also be able to shoot them down, right? Which is also probably going to favor close range combat at the same time, because if you shoot those torpedoes from a close range, enemy ships will have less time to take them down for sure. Capital ship turret and torpedoes VFX SFX improvements here. Improvements to destruction, death mask firing, turret firing, missile trails, and torpedo visuals and sound effects to enhance the look and feel of combat against the destruction of capital ships. This one here, we know the vehicle and identification was from last time. A couple of more tasks here, 5 more tasks done for station base refining, now standing at 62 tasks out of 70. We also had another just a few tasks here for the multi-tool beam attachment, and tier 0 here still at 3 tasks out of 5. 4 tasks have been done here for elevator panel update, now standing at 8 tasks out of 14. The Talon has also seen 5 more tasks done, now standing at 23 tasks out of 44. The same goes for the variant. And it looks like finally the Gemini A03 sniper is now called a Gemini. Of course it is, because if you, not around this picture, but if you look at the previous picture that we had, I think that was in an email a couple of weeks ago, then we could see Gemini on the weapon, right? So of course it was not rebranded, it has the visual cues of Gemini, and that was definitely a mistake. Very exciting update here on the roadmap. To me, this still seems a little bit like a roadmap padding, but maybe it also shows that this is the direction that Star Citizen Alpha 3.12 is going at. I hope that they really manage to fix all the desync issues and the connectivity issues that was blocking the IDRISS mission, and that the IDRISS missions are indeed coming in Star Citizen Alpha 3.12. That would be fantastic. What I really find suspicious that everything is polishing here. Probably the reason why everything is already done and polishing is because these are, things that were not on the roadmap, that were being worked on for quite some time. There was probably a blocker that was preventing these tags from being added into the PU, which was probably linked to the fact that the IDRISS was basically crashing the server. It looks like they may have fixed this issue, allowing for the IDRISS to finally get into the server, working, being in combat situation, and allowing people to fight it. This is great news, and I cannot wait to see how this is going to transpire into the verse. Now, let's have a look at Star Citizen Alpha 3.11.1b. So, at the same time, we have Star Citizen Alpha 3.11.b. It's been quite a few days since the last Star Citizen Alpha 3.11 patch. I think it's been an entire week, actually, since we had the last 3.11.1 patch for the Evo caddies, and I was expecting quite a lot of bugs to be fixed, but apparently not so much. So it tells either two things: one, there were quite a few blockers that were preventing progress, or two, they are taking their time because they want to release that for the expo, and the expo is coming in about 20 days, right? I don't know which option it is. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments down below, if you think that either there was a blocker or that they are waiting for the expo. I think they're waiting for the expo, but we'll see, right? Let's have a look at the bug fixes here. Ship spawn at Lorville and New Babbitt should now correctly be affected by the atmospheric flight model. Purchasing oxypens and medpens from the shelf will now correctly place them in the player's personal inventory. They fixed an issue that was causing ships in Arena Commander not to be customizable. Is this also going to be the case for Star Marine as well? Because our loadout in Star Marine is not customizable. Bat token should no longer fail to clear from the select system dropdown. Is that an old bug that was that has been in the verse for quite some time? Because every time we have the 30k and we try to get back, we've had this bad token issues that we just never go at. I've seen that bad token problem for months and months, if not years, right? Models on the character customizer should no longer stand in an A pose until selected. Stow options should now function consistently when FPS mining and picking up gems. The ASAP landing pad location should not correctly display after landing a ship. Clovis generally should not correctly interact with players. He's always interacted with me, but apparently some players could not interact with him. They fixed a viscera issues when looking down into the Carrack's hangar from outside of the ship. Target pin sound effect should not correctly trigger. They fixed an issue causing close range face over IP animations not to transmit to remote clients. Prison oxygen kiosk repair mission's name should no longer be blank in contract available notification. And prison O2 replenishment terminals should no longer be excessively bright. I think that this was an issue in the PTU because they looked quite okay. In the PU they fixed 2 client crashes, 3 server crashes. But there are still, of course, a couple of known issues. Here, they said that ships can become doubled after a character reset, which is quite an exploit that they would like people to avoid, especially if there's another free fly event during the expo. They don't want people to be exploiting the ship during those times. That just doesn't look good on the game. A player ship can enter a state where it cannot be retrieved. This also is something that we've seen for quite a few patches now. When retrieving ships at New Babbage and Lorville Spaceports, the UI telling you what hangar your ship is missing. Global chat may be unavailable in the visor. HUD. Pretty much all of the other bugs here have been in there for quite some time. Well, that's all for this video, guys, but please tell me what you guys think about the roadmap update here. Do you think that this is roadmap padding? Do you think that this is actually something that was done for quite some time and it's like, you know, there's not a lot of meat on 3.12, what should we put on the roadmap to make it look a little bit better? I think that this is more like where we are at. But maybe I'm just an idiot, and maybe they did intend to have a look at this, they did intend to put this in 3.12. But again, I think that this shows also that that we are really at the limit of the current implementation of the roadmap, and that we need the new roadmap that shows us who is working on what. If we had the old roadmap already, we would have known that these tasks were being done, that these new features were being worked on, and eventually would have been implemented in 3.12. But unfortunately, we don't have that new roadmap now, so that's why we didn't know. And you know, with that new policy, you know, it's done when it's done, which is basically what has been applied here by CIG for quite some time, obviously. Then we get to have those surprise features almost at the last moment, right? But since it's done, then we're just getting it, and it's on the roadmap. So you know, which at this point, let's just take whatever we're being given, because you know it's not going to be a lot until we finally have iCache and server meshing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Tomorrow we're gonna have our giveaway video. We're giving away a Starfarer and a Reliant, both of them with lifetime insurance. Have a great one. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.